strikeouts. What I'm getting at is, they want him as a dual threat in the major leagues. And what I've been hearing is when his bat can produce, he's ready for the call. Well, over the last 2 weeks, that bat has produced. And so I think now it's a time for Tampa to say, okay, do we give him another week, another 2 weeks? Do we wait till the All-Star game? But you got to admit, they could use the bat, but they more can use that arm in that rotation. And can you imagine McKay in that rotation with Glasnow and Charlie Morton and Blake Snell and your boy, the opener, the closer, whatever they want to make him, but he can pitch. That's an awesome 5.
Yeah, and they could definitely use the depth. I mean, with some of those pitchers, you worry about how they are down the stretch. So I think having a good young arm like that coming in and helping out is going to, alleviate some of the stress that you're putting on the Mortons and the Glasnows and the folks that, have proven to maybe need some rest down the stretch because you're going to be in a playoff race. So why not bring this kid in? The things that you worry about with the rookie pitchers coming up, you worry about control and command. You don't have that with him. He has established that he is a control artist and he's able to keep the ball in the zone and control it in the zone. So why not utilize that at the major league level right now? You need him to keep pace with the Joneses, if you will.
Oh, I love that. I love when you say keep pace with the Joneses. I got to shoot my gun on that one just a couple of times. Okay, now let me yield to you for a few minutes because so Cha-Cha says it's better, and I think it's better. I don't hear the potato chips anymore, as Cha-Cha referred to it, so the sound is better. I want to let you sort of have the floor and talk about, is it Alizé for the Cubs? You know all about him. I've talked about him today. Everyone's heard my perspective. I thought he might get called up this week to take the start that was vacated by, your injured pitcher. But tell me about him, what you think, and when he might get called up, in your opinion.
Yeah, so they're saying this week. I think it's a spot start for Hendricks. He might get 2 starts. They've really kind of, like you said earlier, he was ready last year, but he suffered a pretty significant injury and had to be on the shelf. So, you look at what he's done. His last 5 starts, he's allowed 2 earned runs, 0, 1, and 1. But the thing about it is he struck out 9, 8, 8, 9 his last 4 times out. So he's really found his groove as a pitcher there. So, this kid, he was a late bloomer, but he came up and he really kind of, started using his legs in his delivery, and, he sits 92 to 96. He needs to work on his, as Mitch said, he needs to work on his supplementary pitches. His curveball is still a work in progress, and his changeup is definitely a work in progress. But you know what? It doesn't have to be great if you can locate your fastball. So, the Cubs have struggled developing pitchers. So I'm a little I worry about this kid. But I honestly, I think he has the talent. I just think it's a matter of really refining it and getting a good opportunity. And certainly with that offense, he doesn't have to be spectacular, right? That's the silver lining. So just go and keep your team in the ball game. They're going to score runs in bunches. So we'll be interested to see. But I look for him the next week and a half.
Well, he's got to do better than Mitch Keller, right?
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Keller got bombed again tonight. Yeah, I know it was 4-1 in the third.
It's funny, Arnie, because you try and prognosticate these guys. This is a guy I saw with my own eyes. I think what happens is you see the stuff, and then the results just kind of become secondary. Yeah, he's not living up to the hype so far. Hopefully they can work on some things. I think he needs to kind of work on look. I think he's up in the zone too much, and that could be dangerous, especially with these hitters. So
Well,
we'll see what happens with him. He might go back down to Indy.
Remember years ago, and I think you're with me on this one. There was a pitcher who came up with the Tigers. His name was Jeff Weaver. Okay, Jared Weaver's brother. Jeff Weaver went on to pitch for the Yankees. I don't know if you remember Jeff Weaver or not, but as far as stuff goes, he was amazing. Okay, never got it together. And then you take an A.J. Burnett. Remember A.J. Burnett? That not that long ago.
Oh yeah.
Great stuff. But he could never put it. Yeah, there you go. World Series champion, but not with the Pirates. Okay. But he never could put it together. It wasn't for lack of talent. It was, and I wonder, I'm not saying that's Keller. Way too early to put that on Keller. Okay? But you've got to be concerned about young pitchers when they're coming up. Is this 20 years ago Jeff Weaver? Is this 10 years ago A.J. Burnett? Or is this going to turn out to be Randy Johnson? Now, I'm comparing them to some great players here, or some that really didn't succeed. But you never know. And the first time, the second time, the third time, you could have a pitcher like Keller have a bad year this year and come back next year and win the Cy Young Award.
Yeah.
So I think we're sometimes a little quick, but I have to rely on what you've told me because again, you've had the eye test, and you've said his stuff is great. So let's give him a chance, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. People, it's funny, these kids come up and you expect them to hit the ground running, and when they don't, it's a failure. I mean, you guys are we're asking these guys to learn on the job at the highest level, I mean, it's just not realistic. Fact of the matter is sometimes, like you said, it takes a couple years to refine, your full arsenal, and until that happens, you're not going to look good. So, 2 earned runs, Arnie. That's not, I mean.
I guess
sorry, I was just looking at it. 5 innings, 2 earned runs.
That's not bad. It's better than it was, right? It's a step in the right direction. But I think we were all hoping today he'd come out and throw 6 shutout innings, but that's not where he's at right now. And I'd say we just got to be a little more patient. Now, we've spent about half the show talking about pitchers, so shall we talk about the bats for just a few moments? And again, being the great guy that I am, Chappy, give me a stasher with the bat.
I mean, I could go about 6 ways from this. How about Keston Hiura? He's 26% owned. He's hit in the major leagues. He's hit 281 with 5 homers and 64 at-bats. I don't, for the life of me, understand. I get why you like Travis Shaw. I get what. Look, you got Travis Shaw, and you got that mess at first base, and you're sitting this guy in the minor leagues. I just don't understand what. It can't go on much longer. You have to stash this guy, and at 26% owned, we're talking about an elite player. This guy is a possible league winner, sitting in the minor leagues. So why not? If you have a crappy last position, spot on your bench, don't waste it on that. Pick up Keston Hiura. It's not going to be long. It's going to be a couple weeks. So that's my take on it. I mean, again, Thames and Aguilar and Shaw just aren't getting the job done. Give those guys some time to kind of, figure it out. But let this kid play because he's certainly shown that he deserves it.
What's the story? Okay, I mean, who is Shaw related to in the C League family? I'm asking because I mean, first of all, let's break it down even more. Okay, when the Red Sox trade a bat, that tells me long term they don't think that bat will hit. Okay, he had a good first year in Milwaukee. Okay, fine. But he precipitously fell off. He did the same thing in Boston. The same thing. So what's the love fest? What's the attachment with Travis Shaw in Milwaukee? And what are they seeing that I don't? And I've been watching this guy. I mean, Keston Hiura, you're right. He was not only hitting 281, but in a short period of time, what do you have, 5 home runs, Chappy?
Right.
I mean, in a very short period of time. And here's Travis Shaw. Yeah, Travis Shaw's hitting 174. Are you kidding me? And Travis Shaw all season long has 5 home runs.
Right.
So I'm not reading it.
So 9 games since he's been called back up. He's hitting 231 with 1 homer.
And I'm looking at it.
Man.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. And since June the 12th, okay, I'm looking at this. He has gone 2 for 11. Okay, that's under 200 if my math serves me right. I think it's 188.
Yeah.
He's at 174 on the year. I'm just not feeling it.
And it's not like even so, it's not like the first base situation is that much better. So there's places for him to play. It's not like, Thames is doing all right, but 257 isn't breaking the door down.
No,
that's not must play. So you're talking about a platoon situation at first base that is average at best. Now, I know the potential is greater than that, but you can get a kid with that kind of skill in if you really want to, and you need to. I think it all comes down to cash. They've paid these guys, and they want to play these guys.
Yeah, but you
don't. That's what it all comes down to.
And you and I know you don't win championships, and I hate to on a night like this say this, but potential, here you go. It's like if you put potential in one hand and you put crap in the other, which one fills up first? And after tonight, you can answer that one. Yeah, you can tell me. Potential doesn't fill up the hand, does it? And I'm looking at Jesus Aguilar, and he's got compared to Travis Shaw, he's like Ted Williams hitting 205. Okay,
yeah.
Again, 5 home runs. Hera has 5 home runs too. I'm almost like I get excited.
And a third of the at bats, right?
Yeah, calm me down, Chappy. I get excited, but here we go. I mean, I'd put Keston here at first base before I'd play these guys at first base.
Yeah, and that's my point. I mean, wherever you want to put it, it doesn't matter first or second. He's better than what you got. He's better than what you got right now. Yeah, his defense stinks. Who cares? You're not playing a defensive style of ball in Milwaukee anywhere.
Well, how many Gold Gloves has Jesus Aguilar won? I'm just curious.
Exactly.
And Travis Shaw, last I checked, his natural position was third base, not second.
Yeah. Right.
And Mustaka's natural position is third, not second. At least Keston Hiura's natural position, he may not be the greatest, but it is second base.
Right.
I'm just at a loss on what and the Brewers, that didn't like their 12 games out. They're in first stinking place.
Right. And they need the offense because their pitching stinks.
I mean, other than Woodruff, and now that's a little bit of a stretch, but other than Brandon Woodruff, who do you really have a lot of confidence in if you're going to Wrigley Field and you got to throw a pitcher at the Cubs? I mean, come on.
Yeah. Josh Hader.
Okay, and so there you go. But they've decided consciously he's going to remain in that bullpen, and they're going to throw out these wannabes. I'm just saying. I'm really confused on what the Brewers are doing, and I'm especially confused with Keston Hiura. I thought he was here to stay. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine 2 things? Can you imagine Austin Riley going back down to AAA?
No.
Can you imagine Jordan Alvarez going back down to AAA?
No.
I put here in that same group.
I would too. And that's saying something, right? Because, he's the far lesser known of those guys, I would say. But, you look at the skill set that he brings. I mean, I think it's undeniable. And I think the fact is that they're wasting him in AAA. For the sake of, a dead contract. And that's a shame. So, I'll tell you, I think it's days and not weeks. I really do believe that. Especially if the Cubs begin to distance themselves in any way, shape, or form, I think that'll force their hand. I really do believe this is a team that's going to depend on their offense, and if you're not getting out of two spots, offensive production,